she dance, she directs, she produces. She is Marissa Oliver to the stage.
So, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited. I've actually never interviewed or really even talked to a tattoo artist outside of the one that did my tattoo. So this is actually really exciting and new for me. So thank you for this. Let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got an entry into artistry.
Okay, so I grew up in an extremely artistic home. My mother is a professional artist, and I actually grew up going to, basically as a little kid, I was in the art department at the U of A all the time, and I also danced my entire life, but yeah, I just started taking art seriously when I was in the 5th grade after I read my first ever manga. I had a friend hand me one, and I was like, whoa, this is a form of storytelling that's really cool. And I just drew and drew and drew and started dancing and dancing and dancing. That's how we know each other. And basically, I, got out of high school. I stopped drawing for about 5 years, just completely cold turkey stopped because I was focusing on my dance career. I was a dance teacher for 11 years. And then mostly ballet things, and then COVID happened, and I was teaching dance via webcam, and just kind of looking around, I was like, I don't know if I want to be a dance teacher for the rest of my life. What should I do? It has to be artistic. I've never worked a real job. And I just kind of had a flashback to 7th grade, showed a teacher my art book, and she's like, wow, you'd be a great tattoo artist. And I totally was like, maybe I should try that out, start researching and looking into what that's about. And after a really hard year of searching, I managed to land an apprenticeship.
That's exceptional. So, guys, you see this work up here. She is incredibly talented artistically this way, but like she said before, Aisha is one of the best ballerinas I have ever met in my life. She used to be my ballet teacher. That's how we know each other. And when she got into this, it's just insane how artists are just gonna artist. Like that's how I feel about you. It's just one of those things. It's just an artist is an artist is an artist, no matter the medium. When you go hard, you go hard. And I just feel like I'll remember, I'll never forget the Christmas show we did together. And just seeing you like do your ballet, and then remember when you came out with this, I'm like, she's good at everything. So I love that about you. Let's talk a little bit about, we don't really see a lot of Black tattoo artists here in Northwest Arkansas.
No, and that's unfortunately by design.
Talk a little bit about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so when I tell people it took me about a year to find an apprenticeship, it was about a year of actually hunting down, messaging tattoo shops. Unfortunately, you can't just become a tattoo artist because you want to be one. In the state, you have to be accepted by someone who is licensed to take you in. And so it means they can really pick and choose whoever they want to become a tattoo artist. And I had artists, like my art, but tell me no regardless. And me looking around and stuff. And at the time, I really didn't want to believe it had anything to do outside of just like, they just didn't really want to. It wasn't until I got an apprenticeship and I got to peek behind the curtain that I got to see how big of an issue it was that there is literally no licensed Black tattoo artists here. As far as I know, for example, I'm literally the only one in this area that is from here in the year of our Lord 2026. And the only reason I slipped by, the only reason I even got my apprenticeship, as I would find out later, is because my studio got a bad review for accepting women but not having any people of color working there. And then I happened to walk in at just the right time. And that's how I got my apprenticeship.
Sometimes that's just how it works.
Look, you know, sometimes the Lord kicks down a wall, you know?
Hey, get away. Get away. We talk about, you know, Black tattoo artists and how we don't have any.
No.
Not
really.
How has that kind of made an impact in what you do, your business, the way you approach your art? How has that affected it?
It does give me a sense of not necessarily responsibility, but it definitely gives me a desire to put myself out there more, not just because I want, you know, more clients who are people of color, but also I want people to know that they now have an in, you know? I know we'll talk about some of my future goals later, but because I am a teacher and educator at heart, because I managed to pave the way and managed to force my way in, now I can hopefully in the future help other people get in easier, you know?
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of, when we talk about representation in anything,
Yes.
that should be a pathway.
Yes.
That should be a pathway for others. So I like that you said that. Your art, like I said, I keep that's probably my favorite one, the very colorful one at the end. What are your favorite styles, your favorite things to draw, and your favorite things to tattoo?
So the style of work that I do is referred to as neo-traditional and illustrative work. So it has a lot of bold lines mixed with fine lines. As you can see, I am a high color artist, though I am fine line trained and I can do a bunch of other different things. But anytime someone comes to me and they say that, hey, there's this really weird thing that I really, really like, and I don't think other people know about it, it's going to be obscure, but I also want it in full color, I get really excited. Anytime I get to do research for a project, I like it when people give me parameters to work with. I know some artists like full creative freedom. I blossom under boundaries. So if people are like, I want this, and I want this, and I need this, my brain basically just explodes with ideas for how to bring their inspirations and the things that they want to light in hopefully unique and interesting ways.
That sounds so much fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. Do you think your personal, individual style and your own vibe kind of translates and transfers to what you're doing in tattooing?
I think so. I think I'm a very dramatic and extra person. I always like to put in just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, which is why a lot of my work tends to have a lot of these elements in it of just a bunch of color, a bunch of little details, and little callbacks to things. I just like getting really in there, and I think my very obvious excitement makes my clients really, really excited to work with me, and then we bounce off each other the entire time, and it's so much fun.
I just want to be in the shop with you. So let's talk a little bit about that. I've seen that you've got a new endeavor going on that I think we should call you Miss Boss Lady. Tell us about that.
Okay. So when I was a dance teacher, I always said I would never own a studio. Never wanted to own a studio. I only ever wanted to work for someone. But now I'm the co-owner of a tattoo shop. I own it with two of my others. It's called Moth and Dagger Tattoo. We are a little private shop here in Fayetteville. It's me and my two wonderful, wonderful coworkers, Jamaica and Colleen. The three of us all escaped our terrible first shop that we all were apprentices at, and literally taking our stuff under the cover of darkness and leaving type work. That's how terrible it was. And we secretly opened our shop. And now we just have this little, it's just such a nice, peaceful, truly calm environment, which is something we three desperately needed from a workplace. And it's just, it's everything I could ever want. I get to truly be one-on-one with my clients. I have my own private room, so it can just be us and whoever else you bring, and it's calm.
Well, to me, that sounds like a wonderful way to get some permanent artwork on your body. So looking into the future, what is the ultimate, if you can look into the future and see yourself at the top, what does that look like?
I always like to be someone who's known for something. So in this case, now that I'm a tattoo artist, I really want people to, when they think about high contrasting color work with tattoos, big illustrative pieces, especially if you are part of the fandom, then they're like, oh yeah, Aisha, 100%, that's who you should go to. I also just want more people to know that there is a Black tattoo artist here. And that, I'm here, and I am, like I said before, I'm an educator by heart, and I really do hope to, once I'm able to, take on more apprentices of color so that we can start populating this area, because, oh my God, there's so many shops. How am I the only one?
Yeah, y'all think we can get Aisha known around here? I think we can. How can we follow you?
So I do have an Instagram account. It is at Aisha Tattoos. My shop is mothanddagger, NWA.com. And you can book either through reaching out through Instagram or reaching out. You can always message the shop as well. And it's usually me you're talking to anyway. So that's the best way to get home.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your journey. And I really see some amazing things for you, and I can't wait to witness it. Thank you so much. Y'all give her a hand.